Whichever way you look at it, Enzo Fernandez signing for Chelsea is huge news in the Premier League. There are some people out there saying they've dodged a bullet if they are not Chelsea, and there are some people out there saying that Chelsea have got a future wonder kid on their hands. This guy is big news, and he's a huge transfer for Chelsea in this transfer window. Welcome back to the Lawrence McKenna channel. It's good to have you guys. If you've got any opinions, hit them down there. If you want to subscribe, do that, but you don't have to. Just stick around and enjoy the good content. Button's there, though. We're well on our way to 100k. Enzo Fernandez has made the transfer to Chelsea. This is big. Why? Well, first of all, Chelsea's midfield is an absolute joke this season. A huge reason why so many teams in the Premier League are struggling, they don't have a good midfield, a functional midfield that can cope with the modern idea of what football should be. And it's changed even in just half a season. Why do you think so many people are looking at number 9s all of a sudden? Why do you think so many people are trying to change their shape? Get new players in, have a big rejig. Chelsea is probably going through an ownership and managerial and player transition at just the right time, because everyone else is too. He comes in, plays central midfield, he can replace a number of different players in there. Not only that, but there have been some players in that midfield that have not only underwhelmed, have been injured for quite some time. So either you're talking about your Kovacic's, your Jorginhos, or your Kantes, or is it that they're also getting rid of the likes of Conor Gallagher, possibly to Everton for like the 40 to 45 million mark, which covers a lot of this transfer in the first place? Or does it go the other way, where they want to do a completely new idea anyway, and so someone like Enzo Fernandez fits this? He brings energy, he brings youth at the age of 22, and of course, he also brings the fact that he's a World Cup winner to Chelsea as well. It's a huge name, it's very prestigious. I can understand why Chelsea fans would also be cynical, though. In the past, they've also made big signings. They haven't always worked out, but that was a previous era. That was a previous ownership. Something different now is apparently happening here. It's just we can't quite work out what. If you go on any of the transfer websites, the news is great, but the value doesn't match what Chelsea seemingly are paying for him. Because they had to pay so much money for a central midfielder who they knew was young and promising and was an Argentinian name, they knew they'd have to pay a little over the odds. Some teams balked at this. Your Liverpools. Some people even said they were going back in the summer. Didn't seem likely. So it does seem as if Chelsea have capitalised here, and they've not really been in a bidding war at all with any other sides. It seems as if Benfica basically told people, hey, this guy's on the way out in the summer. If not the summer after, we're doing whatever we want with him. So you can make your bids, you can do whatever. But Chelsea have been back at the table for quite some time now, and this has been in the pipeline. It's been bubbling away, if you like, behind the scenes. And so Enzo Fernandez is going to be anticipated at Chelsea as well. They will already have a plan for how they want to fit him into the team. Of course, Graham Potter will have been consulted for this, but also it's just a big signing for someone like Todd Bowley in the first place. And tactically, they do need him. They need someone who links defence and attack. They need someone who can not only do that, but is great at pressing, is really good at winning the ball back, is really good vision and exchange-wise, but also is just a dynamic player that someone like Graham Potter can get his hands on, bring into that kind of Brighton-esque idea of the system, bring in the energy, bring in the movement, bring in, it's not a box for Graham, but you get what I mean. And essentially, they can replace some of the players who have now just become a little bit older, also a little bit jaded by the Chelsea way, but also just the kind of players that a lot of the fans want to see moved on in a new era. So who are you excited to see him hooking up with? Well, if you do bring in Enzo Fernandez, what does this mean for the other players in those midfield positions? Does it mean Mason Mount will have to move somewhere else, not only club-wise, but maybe positionally as well? Does it mean that any of those young midfielders that they brought in could possibly be replaced? With Conor Gallagher on his way out the door, are we basically seeing the fact that they're basically going, well, we don't have trust in any of this. We're going to build on the old Chelsea system by selling most of that farm of the academy, make money on it, and in the long run, not only make profit in the short term, but also just show financial fair play-wise, we're also golden. Agents on the phone. Yeah, mate, I think we can get him for you. Okay, great. That'd be fantastic. We're going to get rid of someone else. Conor Gallagher, etc. These are big names. And new owners sometimes get new owner syndrome. And the new owner syndrome is, I want to stamp my identity, my authority on this club. I'm going to do something the previous owner didn't really do. I'm going to make good signings. Sometimes they can get a little carried away. Sure, they can spend over $500 million, but that $500 million will be spread out over 10 years. So amortization being the big word at the moment in football, they will be able to swallow a lot of that investment because in the long run, it's going to A, build the brand of the club, B, they can also write it off against other things they've already got, and C, the club, if it goes up, will obviously make more money, so there are better reasons to have that initial debt or the initial spend, if you like. Who is he going to hook up with? It's exciting to think of the idea that a young, dynamic player who's just won the World Cup with Leo Messi, who seems incredibly exciting, but also doesn't really have a long track record. So this is a bit of an explosive season going into the unknown. He's only just signed from River Plate in, yeah, that's right, folks, July 14th, 2022. This guy's got 6 months of being good in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. I think it is one of Europe's top 5 leagues. And now Chelsea are going, yeah, that's worth 100 and whatever million, based on add-ons and however long the contract is and all these kind of things. But that is a very short window to see a very long-term trend. But you've got some good indicators here. A lot of people seem to have faith in the Portuguese league right now. A lot of people seem to think that there is promise from that league. Liverpool, not least, but also a couple of other sides in the Premier League, say the Wolves and those kind of guys. People who basically take from that league, bring up the player's value and sell on. So there is a good track record here. And if you look good in that league, maybe you can transfer over to the Premier League. Benfica also have a good scouting hub, a place where they basically go, this guy's going to be valuable. Where can we get the peak value? Chelsea, bring him on. But at the same time, do you know what I mean? I just think it's a little short-sighted, though, from people who say he's only had a good 6 months in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. And I get that I just said it, but it is an argument that I had to acknowledge in the video, right? But at the same time, he's been at River Plate, incredibly prestigious club in the first place. He's had, one of the most amazing World Cup experiences in the first place, alongside some of the great players. So it comes with kind of a built-in youthful pedigree, if you like. He seems like a winner on the surface of it all, right? He's won things, he is winning things. And even this season, he's got 1 goal, 5 assists, and 3 yellow cards from 17 appearances with Benfica. So the guy is active. The guy is clearly in the games for good reasons, passes the eye test as well. But Chelsea will also have some underlying reasons that they want to get him as well. Statistically, they will love the fact that this is a guy who can win the ball back. They'll love the fact that this is a guy with high energy, has a great heat map in the first place. I wish I could do that like screen thing. I'm thinking of doing that. Let me know if you want to see that down in the comments below as well. But they'll also love the fact that in the long run, they've got someone here they can build around. A 22-year-old who, the sky's the limit as far as we're concerned, right? And at the moment, there is a bit of a trend of signing shorter guys. 1.78 meters is his height. A lot of people, when they first talk about people coming into the Premier League, they focus a lot on height. Doesn't seem to have been a problem for Martinez at Manchester United. It makes him diminutive. It means he can turn quickly on the ball, use that low centre of gravity to go past people. And let's face it never hindered one of his big international teammates in Leo Messi. So someone like Enzo Fernandez coming in at Chelsea is a good changing of the guard move as well. Huge investment, really promising young player, but also someone who actually has a tangible change on the squad. Some of the other people they brought in, you kind of going, did we really need Cucurella? Did we really need Raheem Sterling? Because we had. This is one of those things that fixes a lot of the Chelsea issues right now in this team. Massively upgrades the midfield in terms of energy and all the other things I put in there. But also, this season in the Premier League specifically, you need this kind of player. You need someone who's willing to be in the battles, putting challenges in, who's also willing to be gritty, who's willing to be all these intangible things that most people just go, oh yeah, that's not statistical, so we can't really measure that. You can measure it, but you can't have a grit map out there. You have very specific ways you can see him. Graham Potter is also the kind of manager who loves to bring a player in, see what they're about, see whether you can see where they fit in, see if you can just sort of play around a little bit with that position. He's definitely a Bournemouth mold of player, should we put it that way? And that is what Chelsea and therefore Graham Potter want. It's going to be fantastic to see how he beds in. I'm amazed to see that they got this done in this window. Just a couple of days ago, we were hearing there are rumours that maybe Liverpool will go back in the summer. Other teams will be in for him in the summer. So it seems as if Chelsea just wanted to get this move in early. They've done a great piece of business. It's so different to the Roman Abramovich era in the sense that now they're being financially smart. UEFA are apparently changing the financial fair play rules this summer. So it will accommodate what Chelsea are trying to build. Long-term investment with amortization, all these kind of ideas. It's an American owner coming in and messing stuff up because other people operate in a received knowledge kind of way. I feel like this is a smart move from Chelsea. I definitely love the move of a young, dynamic player like him, but I also love that this is going to mean that other players want to move there too. You see incredible levels of investment of Chelsea. You will want to be a part of that investment. If you're a Jude Bellingham or someone like that right now, and Chelsea come to pitch at the table, you're taking them more seriously because you're seeing that there is huge amounts of investment there. Now, I get it. They've signed Mudryk. They've signed Enzo Fernandez. Those are two young, exciting players that are now Chelsea guys. Now, some people will use the same arguments that you originally used against the Man Cities and those guys, and originally the Chelseas before. These guys are just, they're just mercenaries that have come in from other leagues. They're only going there because of the big money. Well, hopefully people like Graham Potter will make them want to stay. Hopefully the Premier League culture will make them want to stay. Hopefully they're not just one step up to Real Madrid and gone. And also because they've locked themselves into these long-term contracts, it's not like they've only got a couple of years left on a deal. Chelsea are doing smart business right now. It's not the way that the other clubs have done it in the long run. So how interesting is it going to be to see who else copies Chelsea in a couple of months, a couple of years, when people catch on to what they're doing and think, well, maybe we could do similar. And when it becomes kind of standard practice in Europe. To ride the other side of that, Liverpool and other fans and plenty of other fans who just want to snipe at Chelsea's transfer policy right now are also saying maybe this is a bullet dodged by them. They would have paid a lot of money for him in the first place, which of course is a big risk, but you can always sell players on. But it is a big risk to pay this much money in the first place. It is also a big risk in terms of how long he has been in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, though you've got indicators that show he's probably plotting an upward graph in the first place. But you've also got this idea that if Chelsea are just spending all this money in the first place, how does that get players who are currently there invested in the model? Are they buying the right profile of player? Are they buying guys who are there for the long term? Or would they like to force a move to a Real Madrid or a bigger club somewhere else, or someone that maybe people have dreamt of being there in the first place? So I'm interested to see what you guys think about this. Do you think it's a good move? Do you think it's a bad move? Where are we going with this? I'm interested to see what you say. Going to be fascinating to see how he plays. I'm interested to see that his market value is almost half, but it seems Chelsea are reported to have paid for him. So it's going to be pretty fascinating to see what happens. I think he's going to make midfield what Chelsea want it to be, or at least it's one step closer to what Chelsea want it to be. And I think his level of passing with someone like Mudryk, his level of winning the ball back high up the field protects that vulnerable at the moment Chelsea back line. And also the idea that this guy can come in and reinvigorate the midfield in the first place is hugely exciting to me. Not only, I'm a Liverpool fan, I shouldn't be excited over an Enzo Fernandez signing, but seeing someone like this in the Premier League who's not only had a good 6 months, but has had longer than that, but is essentially a young, audacious talent alongside a Mudryk, alongside, your Felixes and those kind of guys, is insane. Really excited. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the Premier League, Enzo. Good luck, just as long as it's not against us. Chelsea fans, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys maybe with some more transfers later on. Have a good one. Bye.